Hey there, and welcome to Beat Around the Barn.
This episode is looking for vegan love. So if you're out there looking for vegan love, we had the opportunity to interview Karine Charbonneau from findveglove.com, where that's all that she does, is hopes to match people together who are looking for vegan partners.
So those of you out there who are a little worried that you'll never find your match, stay tuned, because we brought a bunch of people together, some single, some dating, engaged, even married here, so that we could talk about this. And we've got lots of great suggestions, so stay tuned.
Hi, Karine. Thanks so much for joining us on Beat Around the Barn. I'm wondering if you might be able to start by sharing a bit about yourself, maybe your Go Vegan story, and then also what it is you do.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. So I am Karine, also known as Vegan Cupid, and I am a vegan matchmaker and a dating coach. And for the last 10 years, I've been helping vegan singles find love in various capacities all over US and Canada. I have been vegan for the animals for over 16 years now. It's so crazy. It makes me feel really old, but it's been an amazing journey. I absolutely love what I do. It is so rewarding, and there is such a need for it. Over the last 10 years, I've seen a lot of people struggle to find love, and not just love, but a vegan partner, right? So I totally get it, been there, done that. And so I'm there to support people on their journey to finding love.
And what is your Go Vegan story? What did it for you?
Yeah, so for me, it was actually, I was married at the time, and my husband was in law school, and he took a class that was all about animals and the law. And that's where he found out about factory farming. And so he told me all about it. We started doing all our research. And like a lot of people, we were totally blind to what was really going on. And so that was like really life transforming. And we decided at that point that we wanted no part in it. And literally we decided to go vegan like overnight. And it was definitely a challenge, especially 16 years ago, because there were not the products that there are available today. And it is so amazing to been able to live through the transformation of so many vegan options now being available in pretty much everywhere, in every city, at every store. It is amazing.
It is. We agree.
Yes.
And especially because Ella, right, has been how many years?
25
years
25 years vegan.
Amazing.
Back then, there was no such thing as vegan cheese. And then the first vegan cheese that came out, I don't know if you remember, like, what that tasted like.
Cardboard.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So Karine, so you are a vegan Cupid. This is like incredibly interesting. Okay. Now I am married, but when I was dating my now husband, I was like vegetarian pescatarian. And so before I ended up going vegan, but while we were together and all this kind of thing, since then, you know, he's watched all the documentaries, right, with me and all this kind of stuff. Now he's not fully vegan, but he eats probably, I'd say 75% plant-based diet. So we are already together, and that presents already, right, some interesting challenges. So on the front end is so fascinating to me with dating. I know with Ella, she and I talk a lot about this, right, Ella?
A lot. Yes. I've got my own story, but I want to hear about,
Yeah.
I
was going to say, I'd love to hear your story, because I'm just always so fascinated. And to me, I see that people struggle, and that's why I am so fueled and passionate to help people, to show them that if you are a vegan and dating a meat eater is a total deal breaker for you, there are options, right? And I really believe in leading by positivity and being a really good, non-judgmental role model. And so I support on whatever journey they are on. That's just me. And so I'm there to help the people who have chosen to want to have a vegan partner, right? And so it's hard because they're so hard to find. We're still such a small percentage of the population. I totally get it, but it is not impossible. And I've been able to show time and time again that the veg singles are out there, and especially the vegan. Okay, I know there are way more vegan women than there are vegan men, but the men are out there. And when I did these speed dating events, I didn't mention that, but I'm mentioning it now. So the speed dating events is kind of like how I got all my start, right? And I hosted them all over US and Canada, and I was always able to get equal numbers or pretty darn close to it of men and women. So many people were so shocked, but the men came out of the woodwork and I was able to find them. So they are there, they do exist. And so if you are vegan and you want to spend the rest of your life with a vegan partner, you have to be super focused on that and not give up and not compromise. You have to put yourself first. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to really ask yourself, and I actually just wrote a guide about should vegans only date vegans? And again, I'm not here to judge anyone on whatever they decide to do, that's on them. But my number one point that I address in that is to not try to convert a partner into going vegan. So I'm not talking about being vegan and trying to get a meat eater to go vegan. I'm talking about romantic relationships, because that is a whole different ball game. Okay. Yeah. Of course, as vegans, we, it's important for us to show people, the amazing things about being vegan. But when it comes to finding love, you don't want to have that pressure on a relationship. And so a lot of people, and I've seen this in a lot of Facebook groups, people ask for advice. Where can I find vegan singles? And so many people say, date a meat eater and convert them. Okay, so it works for some people. It has worked for some people. However, what happens if, that's what you're trying to do, and your partner says, oh yeah, I'm going to go vegan. Well, what happens if it's 6 months into the relationship and they haven't gone vegan yet? What are you going to do? You're going to be in a really, really tight position, and you might start to feel like feelings of resentment and anger, and that's not good, right? So you just have to be really honest with yourself and ask yourself, am I okay sharing a household with someone where there is meat being cooked, meat in the fridge? And if your answer is no, then be true to yourself and stop wasting your time going on dates with meat eaters, and just focus on finding a partner that aligns with your morals, your values, and your ethics right from the start. And just because someone is vegan, it doesn't mean they will be perfect for you, right? You have to remember that. Not all vegans are created equal, unfortunately.
Well, then there's the other side of that, Karen, right? Where if somebody goes vegan for you, for me, let's say, and then, later down the road, they're going to develop resentment if they're doing it for me, right? Yes. And so there's the both sides of that.
100%. People need to have to change for themselves. You cannot change someone. You just cannot. They have to want to change for themselves. So again, just be honest with yourself, and that's okay. If no judgment, if you can date a meat eater, that's fine. That's you. That's your life, right? But you have to just really think about it deeply, because once all the emotions, are involved, it's a lot harder to deal with down the road. And that's why, again, I'm so passionate about trying to reach as many vegan singles as I can, to tell them that I exist, I am there, I can help you if you want my help.
So speak about your help and in what forms, because you mentioned the guide already, which by the way, we'll put the links in. Yep, speed dating. So we'll put all the links in the show notes so that people can find it. So those were a couple of ways. What are some other ways?
Yeah, so I actually don't do the speed dating events anymore. I've been asked so many times to bring them back, but the answer is no, sorry. I will not put myself through that again. It was a lot of fun, but it was way too stressful, okay? Way too stressful. And so my energy is best spent with, my coaching services and my matchmaking. And so, yes, I have a number of free resources, because I know not everyone is in the position to invest, and not everyone wants to invest, right? Some people, they want to get to know me and they want to just kind of test the waters a little bit. So in the last few months, I've been putting together all these amazing guides to help people on their journey. So I put together that guide, should you only date vegans? I made another one about video dating, because video dating was, became super, super popular during COVID.
Right.
But the truth is that my matchmaking clients were doing the whole video dating thing even before COVID. Okay. And now that things, places have begun opening again, a lot of my clients are still doing video dates. And yes, even with people that live in the same city. So that's a whole other conversation, but I'm like a huge advocate for video dating, okay? And when I'm talking about video dating, I'm literally talking about, let's say you match with someone on a dating app, you have a video date with them before meeting in person.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure they're a real person, make sure that, there's some kind of connection there, that you have more than just 5 minutes worth of things to talk about, okay? So I have that, and I have the really cool thing actually that a lot of people are super excited about these days is I have this thing where every month I feature different veg singles in my email list. So every month I'll send out, I call it my featured veg singles. And then there's a picture and then there's their bio. And it's totally free to sign up for this email list, right? So you get on my email list and you get this email once a month. And if you see someone on there that piques your interest, you get in contact with me. I get you to fill out a profile. I check it out. And if I think that it's a good match, then I make the introduction. So you get to work with a matchmaker for free. So it's pretty cool. I also have something, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, Karen, I just wanted to mention, so you had mentioned you work mostly with people in the US and Canada, or is this literally anybody globally?
No, just US and Canada, because I'm based in Canada and I did the speed dating events primarily in the US as well, right? So yes, only US and Canada, because there's only so many hours in the day. And I've spent years developing this network, right? So yeah, so just US and Canada. But the other super fun thing is called the Veg Love Vault. So basically, it's another free resource. You fill out a profile. It's for my eyes only. It's not a dating website. It is not a dating app. Okay, a lot of people get confused as to what it is that I do. I am a matchmaker and a dating coach, not a dating site, not a dating app. Okay, so you fill out this form, and it's for my eyes only. It's kind of like putting your name in a hat. Okay. If you are a good match for one of my potential clients, I will reach out to you, but I'll only reach out to you if you have a profile in the Veg Love Vault, right? So people hire me for my matchmaking services, and my job is to find them matches. And the Veg Love Vault is the first place I go to find them potential matches.
So interesting. It is. It is. Wow. And so let's see. What do you consider a successful match, right? So are you solely looking at success as, okay, they've gotten together and they're now wanting to go on date number 2, 3, 4, or do you actually look to see if they're still dating or eventually getting married? Like, how do you measure success?
Yeah, and it's so funny. I was having this conversation with someone before, and success is defined in so many different ways, right? Mm-hmm. And the bulk of my business, of my clients are my coaching clients, right? So I really believe in, starting from working on yourself first before getting into a relationship. It is so, so important. Fortunately, a lot of people carry a lot of baggage from past relationships, and they carry that baggage along with new relationships, or they are blocking themselves. They're limiting themselves. There's a lot of deep-rooted things that can happen, and if they're not addressed, they will show up in a relationship, right? So for me, my biggest success comes from working with my coaching clients and helping them become more open-minded, helping them think outside the box, helping them overcome what's keeping them stuck, so that they can find love on their own. So I teach my clients how to become their own matchmaker, because the reality is that matchmaking on its own doesn't work. So I really put a big emphasis on coaching first and then matchmaking. So that, to me, changing someone's mindset, helping someone see their true worth, helping someone love themselves even more, that is my biggest success over them actually getting married or ending up in a long-term relationship. It all starts with you.
Do you have like numbers of how many vegans you bring together on a yearly basis or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with the speed dating events, I connected thousands of vegan singles together, thousands of like actual matches, not just like matches on a dating app where you both clicked, like thousands of matches. And so it's been really, really amazing. And yeah, I have 2 clients, matchmaking clients, who ended up in a relationship after their first match that I gave them. Like, that is amazing. And like one of my favorite love stories is from 2020. And this couple, they met during a pandemic, and he lives in California and she lives in Ottawa, which is my hometown.
Wow.
And that was his first match. And they've been together for, it's actually a year this month now, his first match. And so it's just like, it can work, right? But you really it has to be the right time and the right place for you to be in a relationship, and not everyone is at that place, right? So it's, a lot of pieces of the puzzle have to kind of fit together, for it to be your time.
Okay. So we are actually going to be gathering some vegan singles to have a little bit of a roundtable discussion around just, their experiences and what they feel are challenges or not, and where on the spectrum they are with would they date a meat eater or not, and all these kinds of things. Is there any advice other than work on yourself first, I guess, right? Is kind of what you were saying. Is there any other advice that you would maybe give vegan singles out there?
Yes. So the biggest thing comes with about the location. So a lot of people say that they just want to meet someone who lives like within a 10-mile radius of them. Okay, that's fine. That's great in a perfect world. Oh, are you one of those?
No, I'm like, forget it. No.
She's giving that one up now.
Long gone.
So because the pool is small, you have to open doors instead of closing them. So why limit yourself? If you've decided that you want your partner to be vegan, you have to be open-minded. You have to, and it totally works. Like that couple I just told you about, all odds were against them. It was during a pandemic. They live so not even the same country, but they made it work. Okay. So love doesn't have a zip code. So you want to open as many doors, not close them. So be open-minded, give people a chance. Don't have a checklist of 1,000 things that your partner needs to meet in order for you to even give them the time of day. Okay. Height doesn't matter. I'll leave it at that. Okay.
That really is a female's like number one, isn't it?
Yes.
Incredible.
Height does not determine what kind of relationship you are going to have with someone, okay? Respect is the number one thing you want to look for in a relationship. You want to find a partner that respects your morals, your values, and your ethics, no matter what they eat. It's all about respect. If there's no respect in a relationship, it's not going to work, and don't compromise. You will never truly be happy.
I get that. Well, what about physical attraction though?
Yes, physical attraction can totally grow. Have you seen Love is Blind, the show on Netflix?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you have to watch it. It's basically these couples that are in pods. They can't see each other. They are talking to each other. They can't see each other. And some of these people actually fell in love in the pods without ever seeing each other and got married. And they just did like the 2-year reunion after the show, and 2 of the couples are still married. Okay.
Wow.
This stuff works. And, attraction can develop. And I really, one of my biggest pet peeves with dating apps is that people are so quick to judge a book by its cover. So many people don't even look like they do, like their pictures with all the filters and all that stuff. You never even know. And this is for the men and the women. So I hate the whole like aspect of, judging someone in a nanosecond by their picture. And so I really try to provide as many opportunities for people to get to know each other on a really deep level without having the physical thing. Okay. And the physical thing can develop. A lot of people will go on a date with someone and already decide that they're not attracted to them. But the reality is that if they got to know the person, the attraction could definitely develop over time as you get to know them. So.
You know, when you were talking about like video dating, right, as a great way. So when I was dating, that was called like meet at Starbucks for the quick, 15-minute coffee, meetup to see if you even want to go on a date with this person, right? So I'm thinking now, obviously, yes, COVID helped it out, but I am wondering if the video dating is something that maybe younger folks might be a little more open to. Do you actually work with older vegans as well? Is it like a wide age range as well?
Yeah, I've had clients of all ages. The oldest client I had was 71 years old.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, people are making it work. I mean, you have to be creative. Dating in the 21st century, dating as a vegan, dating during COVID, you have to be creative. You have to be able to put yourself out of your comfort zone. And that's what I try to help my clients do. And I really challenge them. Same thing with my Find Your Match package. It's all about putting yourself out of your comfort zone. Like you're literally putting your face and your bio on my email list. I'm putting it on my Facebook page, on my Instagram, all over the place.
Right.
But back in the day, people used to place classified ads to find love. Well, this is my modern version of classified ads.
My dad met his wife. Is that right? Oh my God.
It actually worked, and this stuff does work.
That is amazing. So you spoke about packages. So how do people find you and find out your packages and all this kind of thing?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, findveglove.com. All the information is there. You will definitely want to sign up for one of my free guides because that is a great starting point to just kind of get the ball rolling. Fill out a profile in my Veg Love Vault. It is totally free. And if you are on Clubhouse is literally the new Tinder. Okay, I wrote a whole article, a whole guide about that as well. I absolutely love Clubhouse. And so I encourage everyone to get on Clubhouse, join my club, Vegan Cupid's Corner. I was hosting so many events for the last few months. I've kind of taken a pause, but I will be resuming in the fall. And it is an amazing way to get to know people without having the physical aspect, okay? Just hearing their voice. And you can absolutely develop a connection with someone by hearing their voice. I even created a 5-day course on Clubhouse on how to find a match on Clubhouse.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Karine. We are so excited to meet you and we love what you're doing, really.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, having people align with their values is a really big deal to vegans. So we really congratulate you and obviously all of the couples that you're out there helping.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear what the people you'll be interviewing will say.
Yes. Yeah, it should be spicy.
I'm on the panel, so get ready.
Well, thank you so much. And everybody will put all the links in the notes so that you can find Karine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks everybody for taking a listen to Karine's interview. And I have here some lovely individuals who are gonna join me in this roundtable discussion talking about looking for vegan love. So why doesn't everybody introduce yourselves and also say how long you've been plant-based or vegan?
So you all might know me. I'm Ella. I've been an ethical vegan for 27 years.
Hi, I'm B. I have been plant-based for 2 years now.
I'm JR. I've been plant-based for 3.5 years.
I'm Lexi. I've been vegan for about 5 years now.
Nice, nice. Okay, so who is single in this group? Who is dating? Who's married, right? And who's looking for vegan love, right? So first off, who's single? Okay, all right, okay. So then the two of you are in relationships,
Yep.
yes? Anyone married?
Engaged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations
Thank
to
you.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I am married, but I am no longer looking for vegan love at this point, right? So then would you all say you were looking for vegan love? So Ella, yes, right?
That's a yes for me.
How about B, and also to Lexi, would you say you're looking for that in particular?
I would, yeah. I mean, my girlfriend actually is the reason that I am plant-based, so
okay.
I wasn't necessarily looking for it when I started dating her,
Yes.
but like definitely I feel like going forward, like I like dating somebody who is plant-based.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I love this angle, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously our questioning is coming from the viewpoint of somebody who already
Yeah.
is plant-based looking for somebody, right? But you're on the flip side
Mm-hmm.
of things where you found somebody who was into it. So was that intimidating? Was there pressure? How did it come about?
Not really. Like, I had been friends with her for a bit, and like I knew that she was plant-based, and like when I would like hang out with her, there was another thing like with Lexi, like when we would hang out together, like I kind of just like naturally fell into like the plant-based vegan like rhythm. And so then I was just kind of like, I just kind of lost interest in like meat. Like I just kind of was like, I don't really like need this like
Yes.
anymore, and then it was just kind of like a natural progression. But yeah, like I just like had a lot of people around me who were plant-based, and then like being in a relationship with somebody who is plant-based, like it just made it like a lot like easier.
Yes.
And just like it was something that I had already like considered doing before then.
Okay.
But then it kind of like spurred me to just like take the jump and do it, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nice.
Because this is so interesting for us. Ella and I chat about this a good bit in that, you know, when you're setting out to find somebody who
Yeah.
might be plant-based, you want them to do it for themselves, you know? So it's nice to hear you were already
Yeah.
playing around or open with it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So how about you, JR? Your fiance, is she plant-based or vegan?
So she's not, and after watching the interview earlier, I think it's a similar dynamic, you and your husband.
Yes.
So she's kind of like vegan by association, but she'll still like go to Chick-fil-A and still eats meat every once in a while. When we go to restaurants, you know, she'll get like the fish special and stuff like that. So she's kind of like Mediterranean, but she's like on board.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like it's really interesting that you guys said like you want to find a partner that does it for themselves, and I'm in the same boat. Like I kind of want her to like, you know, because otherwise you won't really stay on track,
Yeah.
Right.
and you're not doing it for the right reasons.
That's exactly right.
So I kind of, I'm just like kind of nudging her, but there's no pressure.
Yes.
So,
right.
yeah.
What was your reason? What was your motivation for going plant-based?
So I had, interesting story. So I owned a gourmet burger restaurant for 12 years, and I went vegan, and I had to sell it.
Wow.
So I
Oh
owned,
my God, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, JR, that's amazing.
Yeah. So my best friend, John, went vegan. He watched Earthlings and like bawled like a baby for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And went vegan. And I went to visit him, and at the time he was like especially evangelical about it.
Wow.
And if you remember back to when you weren't vegan, how annoying that is. And so I was like, so I went to visit him in Charleston, and I'm still, you know, meat eater JR, own a burger restaurant. And I was like, I just don't want to hear him talk about it for these next 5 days, so I'm just not going to eat meat around him or you know, dairy products. And then I did it, and then as he was taking me to the airport, I reminded him, hey, did you notice that like I ate vegan like the last 5 days? He was like, gosh, I guess you did. He's like, how do you feel? And I was like, I actually feel amazing. So I kind of like, my first like step, you know, into the pool was kind of like, this feels good. Like I slept better, cognitively I was thinking better.
Yes.
And I didn't have all that dairy and like congealed in my body, and I don't know, just like that kind of like got me curious.
Yes.
And then when I got home, I watched Earthlings.
Yes.
And then it was a balance of like, I have to align my morals with my actions now. And it's like, I'm feeling this, I can't observe it and then eat it, so I can't really sell it either. So
Sure. Okay, so then it's not a deal breaker for you that she's still a meat eater.
yeah, it was interesting when you brought up the topic. I was like, I guess that wasn't like a bullet list item for dating. It was kind of like, it happened to come up on our first date, of course. And she was like, oh, cool. And she was like, okay, well, I'll just eat veggie too this meal. And she was just so cool about it and laid back and curious. And when we go on our rants, it's like, it's kind of embarrassing. You're self-conscious. Like, I know I'm just, going on my rant. And she was totally like, oh, wow. Like, I never thought about that. Or like, she was, almost 30 years old and didn't know that, milk, like cows weren't always producing milk. Like, which is, it happens all the time. Like, it's like, no, it's when they're pregnant. They're like normal mammals. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm,
Right.
So the wheels have been turning.
Amazing.
But it's very, very, it's natural for us to like, I'm vegan, she eats vegan, we purple carrot at home, we cook vegan, but when we go out, I don't like hold it against her and stuff like that.
Yeah, so interesting because when I met my husband, I was still like pescatarian, vegetarian when I met him, and he was eating like fast food like every day. So anyhow, then when I went vegan, which was actually Ella was a big catalyst in that. So it seems like that's a common theme. Friends here, right, seem to be a big support system for helping people make that choice. So anyway, at that point, we were already in a relationship, falling in love, the whole thing, right? And now we're married, and he's about 75% plant-based, right? So it is different because it means something different now to me 10 years in, 12 years in, right? Kind of thing. So anyhow, okay, good. So then, Ella, what about you? Is it now a deal breaker if they're a meat eater?
Yeah, well, there's no way now that I could have a relationship with somebody who ate meat. It is not going to happen. Now, is that to say I wouldn't go on a date with somebody who's not yet vegan? I'm going to continue to be open to that. I've never gone into a relationship with a vegan. Now, 27 years ago, I was 15, and so I was starting to date, 16, whatever. I didn't know a single vegan. This was 1995, 1996. I didn't know any vegans, so if I wanted to date, I couldn't have that as a criteria. So basically, I went my whole life dating omnivores. Which wasn't always pretty at all.
Do you have any horror stories?
I have many.
Yeah, gotta share one.
Wow. Oh, gosh. Well, I was engaged when I was 22 to a meat eater. And we lived for a while with another couple. It was like a community house. I would cry every morning when they would, literally, I'm still sensitive, but like super sensitive. Every morning they would make eggs and I would go on a rampage around the house, opening the windows and turning on fan. I made the biggest deal out of, everybody hated me. But I hadn't learned yet to, well, I kind of describe it as putting up a floodgate of my thoughts. Because if I let the thoughts flow about what's happening to animals every second of every day, I'd be a disaster. So I hadn't quite learned to put up that floodgate and kind of have that little bit of separation so I could have sanity, which I had to learn later. So that being said, that didn't work out. One that I thought was going to work out because he was open to going vegan in the home. This was a boyfriend I had maybe 10 years ago. So he was like, yeah, I'm in, I'll do it. And I was like, I know you can't do it for me. And he's like, no, I made him watch every documentary. Like, he had like a checklist. He had to check out every documentary. So I thought he was on board. And then one day I got home and I opened the refrigerator and there's a big slab of beef in the middle of the refrigerator.
Oh, gosh.
And like, my face just dropped and I was like, it's over. How could you? And it was dramatic. But yeah, so, and every boyfriend I've had has moved in that direction. But I haven't quite had somebody, what I'm really longing for, honestly, is not just about the food and having no meat or dairy. It's about really connecting with somebody. And because the ethical part of veganism is so, strong and so dear to my heart and so a part of who I am, I don't feel like I can have true intimacy with somebody who's not an ethical vegan.
Sure.
Not to say that somebody can't become an ethical vegan, so I think I need to still give that a chance. But does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I would like to clarify one more thing. I'm not looking for vegan love. I'm open to for it to find me. So I'm not really
Yeah.
actively
Fair
looking.
enough.
I'm so engaged with my work as a vegan and the vegan work I'm doing that I feel very fulfilled in my life.
Yeah.
So I would like to just
Yes.
point that out.
Gotcha. You're putting the vibes out that
putting
it's
the
coming to
vibes
you.
out. Yes.
Okay, got it. I will say on the horror part of things, so, fast forward, I'm now in this, serious relationship with my now husband or whatever. But when he would eat a burger or like bacon or something, I would be like, oh, like it was like, when people don't like to date smokers, right?
Yeah,
and then it's
exactly.
that, and you're like, oh, yeah, no, can you brush your teeth? Like, and then it's like annoying, right? But it's like, I'm sorry, I can't kiss that right now.
Don't burp.
Yeah, don't burp. And like, right, exactly. Anywho, okay, so interestingly enough, Karen in the interview brought up all these different ways of dating, right? So I'd love to hear here, have any of you tried vegan dating apps and such and all those type things? I'll start with you, Lexi, on this one.
I haven't, but
Okay.
I mean, after the interview, I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
I didn't really know that it existed,
Yeah.
but I think it's an important, because there is a market for it, because it's
Right.
important, like, beyond just like what you're eating, like what you were talking about, Ella, where it's just like you need someone that aligns with your views on things, and I think like veganism becomes something that's so important to you that it's just like it's important to have that kind of connection with someone that can like relate to you on that. So
Right.
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it was so cool how she was saying, like, okay, she was doing some speed dating stuff, or whatever, but then in the apps, and then she does like matchmaking as well. Would you all consider, obviously not you, JR, because now you're engaged, but ladies, would you all consider doing that? Like maybe a matchmaker? I don't know. What about you, Lexi? Yeah, maybe.
Possible.
Call the vegan Cupid. Yeah. That's so funny. Too much. What about you, Ella?
So I have tried a few of the veggie dating apps.
Uh-huh. Not pretty.
I won't name names, but I tried, I think, them all.
Dang.
So it inspired me so much that I thought I was going to create my own dating app. I literally reached out to some. I was like, you know what? These are so bad. I'm going to create my own. And I thought about it, and now I have a lot of ideas, but
Yes.
but the other matchmaking you asked.
Right. Yeah.
No. No, I just, for some reason, for me, it's more about the energy. I'm more interested in just putting out the energy and kind of trusting in the universe to bring it back to me.
To bring something.
It feels a little too forced to have somebody.
Yeah.
And what's right on paper, and I've dated a lot of people that seem really right on paper.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, and also on that note too, right? Because when you meet, there's one kind of mixing of the way the two people get together, and then as time passes, right? Because Mike and I, the core of us are the same, but we are different as well 12 years now later, right? Kind of thing. So, and I imagine too, right? Be in your relationship, you said 2.5 years?
Yeah, about like 2 years now.
Yeah,
So,
exactly, right? And it morphs a bit. Now that you've been introduced to it, let's just say, and heaven forbid, if it were to break, do you think you'd stay vegan?
Yeah,
Or you're plant-based?
definitely plant-based still. Like it was definitely like a factor in pushing me to like do it, like to really commit to it, but it definitely is not like the only reason.
Right.
And it's funny because like now like I like the idea of eating meat again is like so just disgusting to me.
Right,
like it's like, and I like I don't know, like I grew up eating meat, like it wasn't an issue until it was like an issue, and now I'm like I can never again. Like I
Yes.
definitely wouldn't go back. But
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any horror stories, by the way, at all?
Not really,
Like
no,
navigating?
yeah.
Okay, all right. Too much. Okay, gotcha.
JR, how did you meet your fiance?
Actually, we stumbled into each other at a function. So we both are from Charlottesville. Both went to the same high school, different times, but never met. And we like walked out of the bathroom together and bumped into each other.
Wow.
And then we just started talking. We talked for like 2 hours of this thing, and then stayed in touch. And but she's, she has that like spirit that she's like definitely. Kind of like she understands what we're all trying to tell people, and that's like no one's really okay with it, right? Like no one's actually okay with it. They just ignore it and look the other way because it's easy and they just do it.
Right.
And she totally gets that. Which has been, which has been great because you don't have to. It's like, just banging your head on a wall.
Yeah,
really, like when you go out and like you were saying too, like not getting so frustrated and like letting it go. It's like it's hard.
It's hard.
And if you really think about it, like it's just so frustrating because you just really want to help people.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing is like
Yes.
just helping them get to the other side because it's like
It feels so good to be on the other side. But they don't know because they don't know what they don't know.
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. So good. So Karen also brought up that let's just say, right, you end up finding a match or using these apps and maybe they're in a different zip code, living long distance and all of that, right? So number one, she was also saying, hey, don't dismiss that actually attraction can be built not just by looking at a quick picture in a split second and swiping, right? But that maybe attraction builds by getting to know someone as well. And this happens, right, on these Zoom dates or long distance and all this kind of thing. What did you all think about that? Do you think there's credibility to that? Have you ever done it that way before by like not really seeing them first? Or do you really feel, no, there's gotta be a chemistry attraction immediately? Or I don't know, how do we all feel about that?
I think for me, like you kind of touched on it about like just manifesting a relationship and like putting your energy out into the universe, and I'm a big believer in that too. And I think the going vegan has kind of like opened up that door for me, and kind of like that. Those are things that I would have never. I played college baseball. I was in a fraternity. Those things would have never come out of my mouth. And like the veganism, like definitely like showed me this like other side of the world, and I really believe that like. You can feel someone's energy when you're with them.
Yeah.
And I've gotten in tune with that in the last, 2 or 3 years. So I don't know if I could establish a relationship long distance, but I could maintain one. I think you kind of know from the jump the kind of energy someone's putting out, and if it comes from a place of self-confidence and giving and selflessness. But then it's established. And then you can just kind of keep it going long distance because, I mean, God forbid someone gets a job in California or Miami and you're here, like you want them to pursue their life's work.
Yes.
And if it's like, that's the one, yeah, you're going to stay in touch.
Yeah, right.
I'm all about the energy too.
Yeah.
Like I've said. Would I like there to be some, initial physical attraction? Absolutely. However, I do believe the energy piece is part of that attraction. But I do feel like you can kind of feel that energy right away too. So even if it's, if there's some sort of potential there with the energy, and it has, a little bit to do with the physical, but a lot to do with the energy about that person and that connection that you either feel or you don't right away.
I would agree with that. When I met Mike, within the first 15 minutes of chatting with him, I was like, there's definitely something here. Like I knew there was a fit of some sort, right? Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that too.
You were also physically attracted to him.
I was.
You got it all.
I definitely had all of that. Yeah. Boom. Like in the first 15 minutes. Yeah. However, I will say, even though I was physically attracted to him, it hit me in, 15 minutes of chatting. There was something in the way he carried himself, something in what he said, something in, that attraction was there. Yeah. So had he said a bunch of just horrible things, I would have been like, I don't care how attractive this person is on the outside, right?
1,000%.
So I do feel like there is some credibility, right, to what she's saying in giving that a try. Yeah. That attraction doesn't always have to just be the outward shell, right, of the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about B and Lexi? How about you all?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it can build over time, and I also think it's about the energy. And I think that's part of the reason I have an issue a little bit with those like dating apps where it is just like swiping based on pictures, because it's like you don't know that person, and it's like the picture could be bad. Like you don't, you have no idea. And like I think meeting someone in person, or like I guess it could be like over Zoom or something. That's important. Like that's where it starts. It's not just like looking at their picture, or their social media, or something like that. Right. That doesn't tell you like who they are.
Yeah. That's the thing with those apps too. I like, okay, so when I do the mainstream dating apps, I put across like my profile picture, like in words, ethical vegan. Like across my face. Okay, so somebody can't mistake. Okay, yet, do you know how many people still swipe? What is it? The good one. The
right.
They match
Yeah.
you, right? Yeah.
And then I'm looking, and they have the stupid pictures with the fish.
It's the
JR,
worst.
what's that? What is this? What is this thing about holding up a big
Yeah.
fish you caught?
That just like came about the last like 10 years.
What is that?
I don't know.
I'm like, okay. So it just, you know.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's frustrating,
Yeah.
if I might say.
Wow, too funny. What about you, V?
I totally agree. Like, I think, like, definitely, like, kind of getting along with a person, I feel like is more important. Like, definitely, like, you want to be, like, physically attracted to them, but I feel like if you're, like, I feel like if you're trying to, like, build, like, a lasting relationship with somebody, then, like, you getting along with them is more important. And, like, I was going to say, I totally agree with you in saying that, like, you can sustain a long distance relationship. Like, I mean, like, I'm in college somewhere that I'm very far from my girlfriend, so like I'm in a long distance relationship most of the time.
Okay.
And like honestly, like it sucks because it's a long distance relationship,
Sure.
but like it's fine because like there's kind of that mutual like commitment and like ability to like commit your time to that other person when you have that time, and like understanding that like you're living two different lives, but that like you can still like make that work, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, I definitely think that like the personality is really important and like in committing to something like that, because you, I mean, have to just like really like formulate it, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I totally agree with you guys. But
And I have to say, okay, vegans make up what? 2% of
but
the
I think
population?
of the world population,
Right.
Yeah.
Like not just like the U.S. Like I
Right.
think of the world
Correct.
population.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
percentage
It's
exactly of the
insane.
U.S.
Yeah.
But given that statistic, I think being open to a long distance relationship is really
is a
important.
smart
thing. Yeah.
If
That's a
you're
good point.
really
Smart
seeking, and I mean, I'm very fortunate. I work from my computer, so I can work from anywhere. That's why I can be up here so much, and so that's very fortunate for me. But that's
Sure.
not everybody's case.
Yeah.
But I still think, you know, like when we're talking about a long term for the rest of your life, you find that person, you're gonna make it work,
Right.
Yeah.
one way or another.
Yeah, especially with the odds.
Yeah, especially with those
right,
odds.
exactly.
You're like, jackpot? Okay, yeah.
So
Where you
like,
live.
man, technology, right? That is on the vegan side, or the plant-based focused people, right? It's
It
like
is.
you need the technology to be able to connect, you know. So
Totally.
yeah. Well, so for those of you who are out there looking for vegan love, okay, don't despair. Okay, we're really hoping that you found some nuggets for yourself. We love the fact that people like Karen who are helping others find each other. We'll put all of the information of Karen's company, Vegan Cupid, in the show notes. So that way, yeah, maybe distance isn't a barrier for you, or maybe you just walk out of a bathroom and find the love of your life, right? Who knows what's in store for you? Any parting words here for people who are out there in same boat, different boat as you?
I'd like to stress, I think one more time, that I think it is really important for that other person that you're with, if they're not already vegan, to find their own way. And not, it's just, and I know this from horror stories experience as well, is when somebody does it for you, they're going to be either resentful, you know, down the road. It's not going to end well for the relationship. And then if you do break up, that person's probably going to go right back. So you haven't, it's not like you've made some big difference in their life either. So, if you do go the route of dating somebody who's not yet vegan, I think really sharing yourself and sharing what your reasons are in a very gentle way, a very sharing and caring way, and you know, see if that might click with them like it did with your fiance.
Yeah, I think the less judgmental is key, because we are like on the right side, and you do kind of just want to wrap your arms around them and like shove them, like come on, but not being judgmental, and like you said, if they do, then they'll be resentful, and they'll hold it against you in the long run. It'll be something like, it'll just be like, oh, I'm not gonna be vegan anymore because I broke up with that person. And it's definitely a loving thing, a loving and sharing. I always kind of compare it with like religion. It's kind of funny. It's like, it's very similar. It's
I very much agree.
Yeah. And I'm not very religious, but I see now where they're coming from. If they really do, have a relationship with God and they want to share that with other people, what a great thing.
Right.
And that's what all we're doing. It's like, we just want to share this and look at how much better all of our lives have been since making the change. It's crazy.
Yeah, indeed. Well, thank you all so much for listening. And again, we hope you found some tidbits, and we definitely welcome any comments about your journey. And if you'd like to share anything as well in the notes, do so. And then, of course, absolutely good luck on your journey in finding vegan love.